It's time for America Outdoors Radio, the show that covers the outdoor scene across the U.S. of A. and the entire continent. Fishing, hunting, conservation, outdoor recreation, and great destinations. We cover it all every week. It's your country, your outdoors. Let's explore it together with your host, John Cruz.
Welcome to the show. You know, when most folks think of visiting New Orleans in the first part of the year, they naturally think about Mardi Gras and the fun you can have on Bourbon Street. But there's another event you should think about attending in New Orleans, and that would be the Big Bass Rodeo. The annual event took place again last Saturday in City Park with over 500 anglers participating who either fished off the bank or in non-motorized kayaks, all hoping to catch a big bass to bring in for the weigh-in. The winner this year was Scott Daigle, who weighed in a 5.57-pound largemouth bass that was caught off the bank. The biggest bass caught in Bayou St. John was a 4.2 largemouth reeled in by Luke Beslin from his kayak. There was also a student angler competition featuring 30 high school and middle school teams, and this year, the Caston Crusaders Gold from Brother Martin High came out on top. If you want to learn more about this fun, family-friendly event in New Orleans taking place next year on March 25th, go to BigBassFishingRodeo.com. This week on America Outdoors Radio, the spring turkey season kicks off this month in many states, and outdoors writer Brian Lovett, who wrote a state-by-state turkey hunting forecast in a recent edition of Outdoor Life, will join us in just a minute to tell you about some of the great and not-so-great states that you can hunt for gobblers this year. There's a number of well-known companies out there making rifle scopes, spotting scopes, and binoculars, but you might not have heard of one that's fairly new. It's less than 10 years old. It's Tract Optics. You won't find them in sporting goods stores. They sell directly to you, the consumer, from their website, and co-founder John LaCourte will tell you about their high-end optics that long-range shooters in particular love. Another guest we'll talk to today is David Nance with Saber. This company is best known for the pepper spray they provide to law enforcement agencies all over the country, but they also sell bear spray to folks like you and I that we can use to keep ourselves safe in bear country. With the first bear fatality of the year occurring last week in Montana, this is a very timely topic, and you won't want to miss this conversation. Our final guest today is David Schusler. He's with Ducks Unlimited, and he's going to tell you about a really big event happening at the Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth from April 8th through the 10th. It's the Ducks Unlimited Expo, also known as the DUX, and if you are into duck hunting, duck calling, bird dogs, shooting, fishing, conservation, or anything else that has to do with the outdoors, you'll want to be there for this one because it's going to be a can't-miss event that costs very little to attend. On top of that, we've got a couple of other events taking place around the country you'll want to hear about, and we're also going to tell you about another state record fish. This one is a big one, and it's a great story you won't want to miss. Next up on America Outdoors Radio, let's talk turkey. We're going to do so with Brian Lovett. He wrote a great article in a recent edition of Outdoor Life about turkey hunting and how the harvest went last year and what the forecast is for this year. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You know what? I love these breakdowns in terms of state-by-state harvest data and forecasts for the year ahead. And I guess we ought to start off with a state that had a bigger harvest than any other state in the nation, Alabama, where 57,000 turkey were harvested last year. But I understand, as much as that was still a decline. How are things looking in Alabama?
I think it looks fairly good for the coming spring. You know, a lot of these states really had a boost in harvest the last couple of years with the COVID effect. You know, people had time off work, time to go turkey hunting, basically, and a lot of them did. And that was especially noticeable in many southern states. So although they might not have expressed that in the article, I'm guessing that was evident in Alabama as well. But for 2022, the prospects looked pretty good. The harvest, like as you said, declined a bit. The Jake observations increased in 2021, which hopefully will translate into more 2-year-old birds on the landscape this spring.
Another state that had a huge amount of turkeys harvested was the volunteer state of Tennessee. 54,000 turkeys harvested there. How are things looking this year?
Things look pretty good in Tennessee. I think they expect fewer 2-year-olds this spring compared to previous years, so harvest might be down compared to their 5-year average. But as you mentioned, the harvest was very high last year. There's a lot of opportunity in Tennessee, especially western Tennessee, with public land, and it's become more of a popular destination lately. So overall, I think they're looking at a good year, but maybe just down a little bit, because of the number of jakes that were observed last year.
Heading to the upper Midwest, Michigan. I've never thought of Michigan as a turkey hunting state, but it apparently is, with 42,000 turkeys harvested last year. Where are they getting those turkeys, and how are things looking this year?
Michigan has turkeys throughout, but it's especially productive in the southern third of the lower part of the state. I've only hunted Michigan once, but it was fantastic. And, they limit their harvest. It's a one-gobbler state. And I think they're looking at a year that's fairly consistent with previous years. In other words, pretty good success. I mean, statewide, they've been near a 50% success rate the past few years, which for eastern turkeys, as you know, is pretty darn good.
Oh, absolutely. Let's head west. So I know Oregon has got turkeys all over the place in the southwest part of the state, but I've never thought of California as a turkey hunting state, but they harvested nearly 21,000 turkeys there last year. Tell me a little bit about the Golden Bear State and how things are looking for this year.
Overall, I think they're looking at pretty good conditions for spring 22. They said some fires that they had last year might affect habitat in some areas along with drought, but generally opportunities in areas with good annual water resources look to be pretty positive. And yeah, you don't think of California as a turkey state, but the numbers don't lie. And I guess when you travel around the California countryside, you kind of look at country that looks like turkey country, and they have mostly Rios out there, and apparently they are thriving.
Let's talk about a couple of other states that don't get a whole lot of attention when it comes to bird hunting. One of those would be Alaska, where there are no turkey. Your turkey is a ptarmigan if you're listening up in Alaska today. But Hawaii, I was surprised to see that there's actually turkey hunting there.
There is, yeah. They have them. Hunting is on the Big Island, and, it takes a lot of effort to travel to Hawaii to get a turkey, but people who go there love it. I mean, their turkey season is in March. There's a lot of public land available. They have Rio Grandes, and, you can also make it kind of a combination vacation, turkey hunting in the morning, beach activities in the afternoon, I guess. I've never turkey hunted in Hawaii, but that's definitely on the bucket list for one of these years.
Oh, I'm with you. It sounds like a great cast and blast destination to me, that's for sure. All right, we got to wrap things up with what is arguably the worst turkey hunting state in the nation, with only 63 hunters harvesting turkey last year, Nevada.
Yeah, Nevada, there are quality opportunities, but they are limited, and there are pockets of turkeys here and there. And they also had drought conditions that persisted, I think, from 2019 through 2021, kind of damaging a lot of plant and wildlife communities in the state. Nonetheless, there are some pockets that do provide good opportunities, but again, those opportunities are very limited. There just isn't enough suitable turkey habitat to sustain populations across the state. So if you get a Nevada tag, make the most of it.
Well said. If you want to find out more about turkey hunting forecasts in your state, just go to OutdoorLife.com, look for Brian Lovett's article on the subject, and you'll get dialed in on how turkey hunting has been and how it's projected to be in the year ahead. Turkey hunting season is here for a lot of you, and it's a ton of fun, so don't miss out. Brian, thanks for sharing this with us today on America Outdoors Radio.
Thank you.
We've been telling you about Sportsman's Cove Lodge in Southeast Alaska for a while now, and there's a reason. They are the only Alaska lodge we talk about in this show. It's because they're truly Alaska's best lodge. The adventure starts with a float plane ride from Ketchikan, after which you'll get the chance to experience some of the best hospitality, food, and wonderful people you'll ever meet. Wildlife is abundant, from bears and deer to eagles and whales, and let's not forget the reason you're here, the fishing. Halibut, salmon, lingcod, rockfish, true cod, and more. It's all waiting for you in abundance at Sportsman's Cove Lodge. Book your trip today at alaskasbestlodge.com. That's alaskasbestlodge.com for Sportsman's Cove Lodge.
Come explore the Dalles in Oregon for outdoors fun. Hike amongst the wildflowers, bike our riverfront trail, or visit the Gorge Discovery Center where you can enjoy a live raptor display, or even check out our National Neon Sign Museum. But don't forget the fishing. We've got salmon, steelhead, bass, walleye, and monster-sized sturgeon waiting just for you. When the day is done, tell those tall tales at one of our wineries, breweries, or restaurants and plan your next adventure. Find out more at explorethedalles.com.
In today's news, I'm cooking a brisket. Let's go to Jill at my house to see how it's going.
This is your house and you brought me and the crew to check on your brisket?
That's correct, Jill. How's it looking?
This is a Camp Chef Woodwind Wi-Fi. You know you can check your cook right from your phone, right?
I didn't know that was an option, Jill. Well, never mind. But before you leave, can you feed the dog?
What? No.
When we get back, why is my check engine light on? The answer may shock me.
More habitat equals more wildlife. Pheasants Forever is working hard every day to ensure there's more wildlife habitat for the future. Join the habitat leader and help create wildlife habitat in your community. To join us, go to pheasantsforever.org.
You're back in with America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. Got a optics company to tell you about that you probably haven't heard of before. It's Tract Optics, and it's been founded by a real veteran in the optics industry, John LaCourte. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, John.
Why don't we start off by having you tell us a little bit about yourself. You've been in the optics industry for a long time, haven't you?
Yes, I started working for a major optics manufacturer back in 1999 and worked for them through 2014. And my partner, John Allen, who was also from the same optics manufacturer, we both left because we just saw an opportunity, to build a company that is untraditional to, most optics companies. And what we do is we are a direct-to-consumer brand. So we don't sell our products through dealers or distributors. And the reason for that is because modern retailers today are marking up optics more than they ever have before. And that just gives us an opportunity by selling direct to just eliminate that markup and build a very high quality at an incredible price, while at the same time providing an extraordinary experience as far as customer service.
You founded Tract Optics in 2015. You manufacture rifle scopes, binoculars, spotting scopes. How much headway have you made in the industry without being with retailers?
Well, thankfully we've had some incredible relationships that were pre-established, not only with the media, but with subcontractors that allowed us, to jump into the market head first. And, thankfully we've got a tremendous amount of, feedback from customers. The word of mouth advertising is probably the best advertising there is. And, while we're a small company, we're rapidly growing and, just continue to take it one customer at a time.
I'm hearing you say that a couple things that separate you from the competition is, number one, you're direct to consumer, no middleman. That means a little bit lower prices for the consumer. But what else separates your optics, your company, from some of the other better known ones out there?
Well, what it allows us to do is by, eliminating that retail markup, we can build the product at a level that provides a great deal more specifications and features that the competition really can't at those same prices. So, for example, we use shot high transmission glass in all of our toric products, which are our flagships in rifle scopes, binoculars, and our spotting scope. Shot glass is the glass that a lot of the high-end European companies use. We can put it in our product basically at a fraction of the cost because, again, we're eliminating that retail markup, which is pretty significant these days.
This glass, the shot glass, this works really well under low light conditions, doesn't it?
Correct. It also provides a very high level of detail resolution. So when we talk about optics, there's a lot of things that come into play. You might see, certain optics companies quote a very high light transmission, but it's a balance. Light transmission is extremely important, but if you don't have good detail resolution, which is the ability to see detail, then all of that light transmission is not going to benefit you when you can't, make out what you're seeing. So not only does shot glass provide that high level of light transmission, but also the detail resolution. And we add an extra low dispersion lens, which, again, increases the contrast between colors. So when you have light and dark colors together, what happens when you don't use extra low dispersion glass, those colors tend to bleed together. So if you ever look through, optics in low light, things kind of get a little grainy,
right.
Kind of like fuzzy. That's because, ED glass is probably not being used because it sharpens those edges between contrasting colors, especially in extremely low light.
The things you learn about optics when you talk to a pro. All right, you've got two new rifle scopes that are hitting the market. These are the Toric Hunt Series rifle scopes, specifically for long-range shooters and hunters. They're available in first focal plane and second focal plane reticle options. Before you tell me about the scopes themselves, explain what these focal planes are.
Sure. So first focal plane is a reticle that is placed in the first optical focal plane, obviously. And what that does is the reticle itself stays constant no matter what magnification you're at. So you can use the reticle for bullet drop compensation or range estimation at any magnification. Second focal plane reticles, while they appear to stay the same size, they're actually changing in relation to the target. So in most cases, when you're using a reticle in a second focal plane for bullet drop compensation or range estimation, it really has to be set on a particular magnification, usually the highest, for that reticle to work properly. There's advantages and disadvantages. The advantage of that first focal plane, again, is the ability to use a reticle at any magnification. The drawback at low magnification, it kind of becomes hard to see the reticle at low power. Second focal plane, the benefit there is basically the reticle doesn't change visually. You have to obviously, know what the reticle subtensions are to be able to use it at other magnifications. But more commonly, the second focal plane has been very popular in the United States for many, many years. First focal plane is gaining a lot of popularity, especially because of long-range shooting.
Interesting. All right, now tell us a little bit more about the Toric Hunt Series rifle scopes that are just coming out now.
Sure. So 30-millimeter scopes are, again, gaining tremendous popularity. And the thing about a 30-millimeter tube, a lot of people think that a 30-millimeter tube gathers more light or will be brighter than a 1-inch tube. That's just not how optics work. The benefit of the 30-millimeter tube is since larger lenses are used, the ability to see detail is enhanced, and you have additional adjustment range with your elevation. So that's where the 30-millimeter tube really helps in a hunting situation where you're looking to dial your distances. Again, these scopes feature shot-high transmission glass and an ED lens. You can choose either a first focal plane or a second focal plane. There's 4 different reticle options. So we try to basically cover just about any hunting application. If you're looking for illuminated reticle, there's 2 models with illuminated reticles. If you're someone that's looking to dial your turrets, we've got 2 models with locking turrets. If you're looking for MOA versions or MRAD versions, we've got those as well. So we try to really hit as many different facets of the hunting environment with those 4 models. And it's in a perfect magnification range, at 2.5 to 15, low power, nice wide field of view. 15 power is usually more than enough for any type of hunting distance shot. And a 44-millimeter objective allows you to gather a lot of light, but still mount the scope close enough to the receiver for a good cheek weld.
It sounds like a great product. One last question for you. You've been in business for 7 years now with Tract Optics. What has been your best-selling product, and what do you attribute that to?
You know, ironically, the best-selling product is our Toric 34mm 4.5 to 30 by 56 extreme long-range rifle scope. And I think a big part of that is long-range shooting has really exploded. More and more people are going out and purchasing rifles specifically, you know, for shooting steel at long range. And, you know, our long-range scopes are all of our top sellers.
All right. Well, folks, if you are after a quality long-range optic, whether you're looking for a rifle scope or a spotting scope or binoculars, the place to go is tractoptics.com. That's TRACT optics.com. You can also find Tract Optics on their Facebook page, on Instagram, and they've got a YouTube channel as well. Again, tractoptics.com. That's your first stop for quality optics, direct to consumer, no middleman required. John, thanks so much for sharing this with us today on America Outdoors Radio.
Thank you, John. My pleasure.
Country hunters and anglers. You may have heard of us, but what are we about? BHA is the voice for your wild public lands, waters, and wildlife. From national level policy work to boots on the ground projects like public land cleanups, we work across North America to uphold the legacy of our public lands and waters, as well as your opportunity to hunt, fish, and recreate on them. Stand up for public lands and waters and become a BHA member today. Visit backcountryhunters.org.
Hunting and fishing are exercises in hope. Before you head into the woods, you hope to tag out on a deer you'll have to field dress. Before you make that first cast, you hope for a big fish to clean and fillet. When your hopes are realized, you'll need a sharp knife. Whether you sharpen that blade on a power sharpener in the shop or a manual sharpener in the field, WorkSharp has the tool for you. Look for WorkSharp products in sporting goods stores near you or online at WorkSharpTools.com.
Next on America Outdoors Radio, we've got bad news out of Montana, where a man was mauled to death by a grizzly bear, the first fatal bear attack of 2022. It happened in Paradise Valley, south of Livingston, Montana, on March 23rd. Craig Cloutra and a friend were hunting for shed antlers together and split up during their day in the woods. When Cloutra didn't return to their vehicle, his friend called the local sheriff's office. Search and rescue personnel found Cloutra's body 2 days later, and the sheriff said it was clear he had been killed by a grizzly bear. That's why we've got David Nance on the line. He's with Saber, a company that makes pepper spray for law enforcement and bear spray for use by outdoors enthusiasts. David is also the founder of Saber's Personal Safety Academy. David, welcome to the show.
John, thanks for having me.
Let's start off with the age-old question. What should you carry, bear spray or a firearm when you're in the woods in bear country?
Well, I mean, it's okay to carry both depending upon your situation, but for the protection against an attacking bear, you absolutely want to use bear spray. There was actually a study that was done by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife that showed since 1992, bear spray is much safer. There's only injuries, less than single-digit injuries, about 5%, whereas with the firearm, it's up to 50% of the time. So in addition to that, if you're in bear country, I mean, that's their home. So we really don't want to go into their home and then have to kill them, right? A bear attack deterrent spray can safely deter the bear without causing any permanent injury to them or you, ideally.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about the bear spray that Saber makes. I was well aware that you've been in the law enforcement business, making OC spray for officers. Never knew you were in the bear spray business, too.
Right. So Saber is the number one brand of pepper spray sold worldwide, and we manufacture more product than any other brand. And that's how most people know us, by that. You can obviously law enforcement globally, but also you can buy our products for personal safety in sporting goods stores, mass merchant retailers, et cetera. My father founded the company, and in the mid-'90s, when we introduced our bear spray, when we got the EPA registration, my parents came up with the name Frontiersman Bear Attack Deterrent. So not everyone identifies Frontiersman with Saber, but that's actually our brand of outdoor safety products are all branded underneath the Frontiersman name. So that's your Bear bells, your Bear horns, your Bear food storage containers, and your Frontiersman Bear Attack Deterrent Spray, of course.
So, David, what is the difference between the pepper spray that people carry for protection against other people and bear spray that's used against bears?
So bear spray can be up to 50% stronger than the strongest pepper spray that's used by law enforcement. And aside from the strength, it also reaches greater distances. So it's basically built like a small fire extinguisher. You got bears that travel up to 50 feet per second, running up to 40 miles per hour. And you want to put as much distance between you and that bear as you possibly can. And you want to have something that can protect you at a distance against them. So bear spray projects a large cloud, meaning, back to that firearm question, you don't have to be as accurate. That bear is going to run into that cloud that projects 30 to 40 feet. And basically at that higher concentration, it's going to cause involuntary eye closure. They're going to inhale that. They're not going to be familiar with it. It's going to irritate them. They're not going to like it. And they get a little panicked and they leave that area.
And I think you've just answered my second question, too. Folks who might carry that personal defense pepper spray in the woods, probably not going to really help because you've got to be so close to the bear when it's used. They're going to be right on top of you before it takes effect, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, most of those personal sprays, those keychain ones that are compact and easy to carry, you're going to get about a 12-foot range with those. You go into the police sizes, you get, about 18 feet with the pepper gel, which are nice products. But again, those are designed to deter an attacking human, a human that's threatening your safety, not a four-legged top of the food chain bear that's coming at you at 40 miles per hour. So you want that distance. Those are not enough. Great products for personal safety, not to use against bears.
What is the effective range of the Frontiersman bear spray?
So our max spray reaches up to 35 feet. That's a 9.2-ounce canister. We make a smaller size can at 7.9 ounces, which reaches 30 feet. And so those are our two sizes, and that 35-foot range is our max range that we put out.
Now, I know that it's really important with any tool like this that you're using to be confident in its use. So number one, it has to be accessible, and I know that you sell holsters, so you can have that. And folks, there's all sorts of stories about people who had bear spray, but it was stuffed in their pack and they never got to it when they needed it. So have it accessible, have it in a holster, but you want to be able to use it without getting the full spray, so you're confident in how to use it. You actually sell inert bear spray, don't you?
We certainly do, along with those holsters that you just spoke of, John. But yeah, you're exactly right. When you're stressed, when you have a four-legged animal coming at you at that large a size, up to 800 pounds at that speed, that's pretty darn scary. So you're going to want to have an idea of how to operate that bear spray prior to that moment where, let's face it, your life is in jeopardy in that situation. That could end up very badly. So your fine motor skills and stress doesn't bode well to trying to learn how to do something for the very first time. So the practice sprays, the water-based practice sprays, allow you to get familiar with how to hold the product in your hand, how to pull back on that safety wedge, then press down on that firing mechanism, and you see how far the can deploys. And what a lot of people don't realize is they think you hold the can out perpendicular at 90 degrees and you spray it, well, you might end up firing that right over the head of the bear because bears are running low to the ground. So you want to tilt that canister at about 45 degree angle. So you're spraying downwards, so it's going to give you a much better chance. You're pretty much guaranteed in that situation that you are going to hit the bear in the face, that's where you're aiming for. Inert practice spray allows you that familiarity, and it's going to give you much more confidence and much increase your chances of using that product correctly while under stress.
One last thing we should point out about the Frontiersman bear spray is the fact that you've got a glow-in-the-dark safety tab. This is a great idea to help prevent accidental discharges and to also help you use this at night because bears can be nocturnal.
Yeah, unfortunately, every year there are fatal bear attacks in the United States. And just last year, there was a woman pulled out of a tent. And I would imagine that was at night. And this would allow you then, when you hear that noise, to look over and quickly find your bear spray. Seconds count in those situations. And if you can find the product immediately, you mentioned those holsters, which chances are you're not going to go to sleep with a holster on you. So this would allow you to grab that canister when it's dark outside, when, a bear could be coming near your tent. And that's another product your listeners should consider is those bear food storage containers. Obviously, we've heard a lot about that. You don't want to have food in your campsite at night. You're going to be visited by someone that you don't want to be visited by. So keep that food secure and keep it 100 yards away from your campsite. That's also going to help protect you.
We're running out of time, but before we go, where can folks buy Frontiersman Bear Spray and other bear safety products from Sabre?
Sure. So we do business with the major retailers like Walmart, Bass Pro, Cabela's, Big 5 Sporting Goods. You can obviously buy the product on Amazon.com, Walmart.com. You can visit our website as well at SabreRed.com, and we will list our retailers there, or you can buy the product directly from us if you prefer.
All right, that website again, SabreRed.com. Check it out or find Frontiersman Bear Spray at all those retailers that David just told you about. David, thanks for sharing this wisdom with us today on America Outdoors Radio.
John, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Sticking with bears, spring bear hunting season is opening up in several states, and you don't want pepper spray for spring bear hunting. You need a rifle, and a great one to have is an all-weather lever-action rifle from Henry Repeating Arms. You can get them in .30-30 or .45-70 calibers. That latter one in particular will definitely take down any Bruin you run across this spring. And that all-weather feature, well, especially when it comes to spring hunting with lots of rain, lots of wetness, definitely what you want to have out there. These rifles not only hold up to all weather conditions, but they're also rugged in other ways. They're reliable, they shoot accurate right out of the box, and most importantly, they're made right here in America. You can find out more about Henry's rifles for bear hunting and more by going to their website at henryusa.com. That's henryusa.com, and don't forget to ask for your free decals and catalog while you're there.
Ready to step up to a quality-built rifle or shotgun that's a true classic? Check out Henry Repeating Arms, American-made. There's over 200 models to choose from in a variety of finishes and calibers for hunters and target shooters. Many of these are lever-action models with a look right out of the Old West. Don't be deceived, though. Henry Repeating Arms are modern, rugged, accurate, reliable, and have a lifetime guarantee. Find out more and order a free catalog today at henryusa.com. That's henryusa.com.
We love our children. We protect them. We guide them. We prepare them for life in the world. With all that we do from deep in our hearts, we cannot control all things. Life-threatening illnesses and disabilities affect far too many of our children each year. While we cannot change the circumstances, we can make dreams come true. Dreams to provide hope, to provide spiritual healing and strength, to provide moments of happiness and relief in the darkest of times. We can give a glimmer of light and hope in a time of darkness and despair. Join huntofalifetime.org to help make dreams come true, to provide hope for children with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Hunt of a Lifetime is a non-profit organization fulfilling dreams for hunting and fishing trips to youth 21 and under with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Visit huntofalifetime.org to learn how you can make a difference. That's huntofalifetime.org.
Why book at Sportsman's Cove Lodge?
Why is Alaska like no other place on Earth? It hasn't changed in thousands of years.
From the way you get here on a float plane to the way you go out with the guides and the boats, it's just a professional experience.
And I said, this is as good as it gets. I said, if you can't catch fish here, you can't catch fish anywhere.
Your experience with us will leave you speechless.
Book now at alaskasbestlodge.com.
Mike Lindell, the inventor and CEO of MyPillow, wants to give you even more incredible discounts. If you go to MyPillow.com right now and click on the radio listener special, you'll see an incredible lineup. In fact, right now, it's the bedding sale. 50% off the following: sheets, a 2-inch mattress topper, sleepwear, blankets, quilts, comforter. I'm Ken Matthews. I'm a big fan of Mike and a real big fan of MyPillow.com. That's where you need to go, by the way. You go to MyPillow.com, you scroll down till you get to the radio listener specials, then you click on it. That's where you're going to save big when you enter the code KEN. That's my name, Ken. For example, a full-body pillow, regularly priced $117, now only $39.99. Made in America, comfortable, luxurious quality from my friend Mike Lindell at MyPillow.com. Enter promo code KEN. MyPillow.com, promo code KEN.
Next on America Outdoors Radio, we've got David Schusler on the line. He's the National Director of Event Fundraising for Ducks Unlimited, and there's a really big event that's happening at the Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth, Texas on April 8th through the 10th. It's the Ducks Unlimited Expo. David, welcome to the show.
Hey, John, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be with you.
You know, I was at the Bassmaster Classic last year and got to talk to some of the local Ducks Unlimited folks there, and they told me this is a really big event that people should attend. Why don't you explain to some of our listeners, both in and outside of Texas, why they should make the drive to the Texas Motor Speedway?
Well, it is a big event. Last year, which was our first year of bringing the DUX to Texas Motor Speedway, we had over 44,000 people attend, and this is the world's largest consumer hands-on outdoor expo. If you can cast it, if you can shoot it, train it, it is going to be represented at the DUX. It is a see, try, and buy experience for folks that come and really spans everything outdoors.
Oh, I like this a lot. Now, the presenting sponsor is Purina Pro Plan. And I understand they've got all sorts of things going on when it comes to dogs and dog training.
They do. Purina Pro Plan is our presenting sponsor and also is the sponsor of our Dog Village. And Purina, who is a great corporate partner of Ducks Unlimited, is really opening the doors with all of their trainers and some of their performance team to bring them to Texas Motor Speedway. And we are really looking forward to all the shows that they have there. They're bringing the Pro Plan Performance Team, which is a collection of the world's most athletic canines. And these are the dogs that you envision going around jumping 2 stories up and grabbing the flying discs and running through the shuttles all out on a field in a time trial type situation. And it's really special for them to bring that group to an event such as this, so we're really looking forward to it. But what they're also doing is they're bringing some of the top trainers that are sponsored by Purina to this show. Chad Collins, who runs the Quack Pack USA, that's herding demonstrations. Jordan Horak, which is well known for his flushing dog training, as well as more of the waterfowl-based training with Tom Dockin of Dockin's Oak Ridge Kennels, and then Mike Stewart of Wild Rose Kennel just south of me in Mississippi will be bringing their dogs in, and we'll have ongoing demonstrations in the Dog Village for anybody who wants to come and take part in them.
Boy, talk about some of the biggest names in the bird dog world. That is impressive and well worth the price of admission. Speaking of which, what is the price of admission?
It is $10 for an adult. Kids come in free. Kids 12 and under are free. If somebody wanted to buy a 3-day ticket, it's $25. And all first responders and active military get in for free. And dogs get in for free, too. We want everybody to bring their dogs, especially those who want to go and take part of the Dog Village, and so everybody is welcome at a very low cost.
Oh, that's a great cost, absolutely. Let's talk about ducks and duck hunting. It is a Ducks Unlimited event. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some duck hunting stuff going on. Are we talking things to buy and things to try out and maybe some seminars too?
All of that. Things to buy ranging everywhere from shotguns to duck calls to some of the most popular ammunition companies out there to wader companies, you name it, boat companies, they will all be represented at the DUX. And again, the real neat thing about DUX is that try and buy experience. One of our highlighted villages is our shooting village, and this really is what makes DUX different, is the ability to come and try a Beretta shotgun, try a Benelli shotgun, try a Rete shotgun. And if you like what you try, you're able to transact a purchase there and then have that firearm delivered to your local FFL dealer. So that's something that makes us different, is getting that shotgun in your hand and hearing it go boom and trying it out before you buy it. But not just waterfowl shotguns. We also have deer rifles there. We have handguns. Our shooting village will probably have 15 to 20,000 rounds that are going to be live fired over the 3-day period. And so if you're in the market for a new gun, this is going to be the place to actually come and be able to try it out before you buy it.
Man, oh man, color me impressed. Now, you mentioned that this Ducks is about everything outdoors. It's not just duck hunting. It's not just bird dogs. You've got fishing and some other things going on too, don't you?
We do. We have our fishing village. We have an ATV village where you can come and drive an ATV. We have our conservation village where not only Ducks Unlimited, but other conservation groups will be set up answering questions and sharing what we do with all of the attendees. And then the exhibitors range everything from bird straps to vacation homes. So if you enjoy the outdoors, we will have something for you at the DUX, including our duck calling and goose calling championship, which runs over Saturday and Sunday, and the duck calling portion of it is a qualifier for the World's Championship in Stuttgart in 2022. And last year's winner at our qualifier, a gentleman by the name of Hayden Richard, actually went on to win the Worlds. So we found the World's champion last year at our DUX event, and Hayden will be there judging the calling contest this year because as a winner last year, he's not allowed to compete in any of the qualifiers.
One last question for you. A lot of folks are going to be bringing their kids. Do you have some stuff specifically geared towards youth?
We do. Bass Pro Shops, another one of Ducks Unlimited's great sponsors, will have a host of different activities for the kids. For the really young ones, Texas Parks and Wildlife, our conservation partner there in the state, will have an entire fishing tank set up for the kids. We're bringing our own laser shot trailer where you can replicate a duck hunt or a deer hunt. It's just all types of different kids' activities.
Well, I'll tell you what, all sorts of great reasons to head to the Texas Motor Speedway April 8th through the 10th. Head to Fort Worth, folks. Take part in the DUX, the Ducks Unlimited Expo. Looks like it's going to be all sorts of fun. David, thanks so much for sharing this with us today on America Outdoors Radio.
Thank you, John.
The DUX is not the only outdoors-related show taking place in early April. The Illinois Deer Classic is going off this weekend through Sunday the 3rd at the Civic Center in Peoria, and will feature a big buck contest in case you've got a trophy that you think will beat the competition. And our listeners tuning into our show on KCNR AM 1460 might want to attend the Redding Sportsman's Expo in Northern California. That's also going on this weekend at the Redding Civic Auditorium, and with over 100 exhibitors, a climbing wall, and axe throwing, this should be a lot of fun. And now, it's time for one of my favorite show segments.
It's time to talk record fish.
This record comes to you from Maryland, where the State Department of Natural Resources reports Kyle Mullenix from Hagerstown was fishing on the Upper Potomac River on March 2nd when he hooked into a muskie, also known as the fish of 10,000 casts. This wasn't just a hard-to-catch muskie, though. It was a big one, measuring 49 inches long and weighing 33 pounds, making it the new Maryland state record. According to Fox News, Mullenix said he had been trying to catch a muskie, the largest freshwater fish in Maryland, for decades, but hadn't had much luck until he hooked this fish and got it to the bank. I think it would be fair to say that your goal has been accomplished, Kyle. Way to go. That is one fine fish.
Congratulations on your new record.
As we wrap things up this week, I hope you'll wish me luck as I compete in a big bass tournament next Saturday at Potholes Reservoir in eastern Washington. The event is being put on by the Mount St. Helens Bassmasters, and whoever catches the biggest bass of the day will be walking away with a $10,000 check. Here's hoping that my fishing partner, Rusty Johnson, and I are lucky enough to catch that fish. Even if we're not, though, it's going to be a ton of fun fishing this event. I love tournament bass fishing, and since we've got a new to us Nitro Z17 boat, I think it'll be even more fun. Here's hoping you get out there as well in the week ahead, and whether you're bass fishing, turkey hunting, looking for shed antlers, or attending a sportsman show, there is a lot to do. So be blessed, be healthy, have fun, and remember this: it is your country and your outdoors, so get out there and enjoy it.
Ready to step up to a quality-built rifle or shotgun that's a true classic? Check out Henry Repeating Arms, American-made. There's over 150 models to choose from in a variety of finishes and calibers for hunters and target shooters. Many of these are lever-action models with a classic look right out of the Old West. Don't be deceived, though. Henry Repeating Arms are modern, rugged, reliable, and have a lifetime guarantee. Find out more and order a free catalog today at henryusa.com. That's henryusa.com.